So in that video we've looked at our first time management technique or tool. They're calling it Eisenhower's matrix. It's also called Eisenhower's grid, divided into 4 quadrants, as you can see there on the screen: do, plan, delegate, eliminate. Sometimes the wording's slightly different, but they mean the same thing. And as they said, it's about managing tasks, and tasks are about managing your time. Reducing stress leads to increased productivity, they said. And that's not just because you get more time, it's because if you're less stressed and you're more organized, you're more likely to be more effective. They were using it for looking at personal things and work things. Yeah, you can use it for both. One of the keys, I think, is about saying no. Those things in the delegate and eliminate, we need to learn to say no sometimes, and that's much easier if we've been through the process and worked out what we've got to do and worked out what our planning is. We can then justify saying no. They said about someone ringing up asking for a favour, for somebody to attend a meeting, and about delegating it, but that's sometimes about being able to say no to someone. So if we can get things sorted out by using those quadrants and know what is the immediate things we need and what are the planning, then we can move forward. Now, good time management is about expanding the planning area, because the planning area is normally the important stuff. You're a supervisor, a team leader, a manager. You need to be planning ahead while other people are doing the stuff that needs to be done. What is it he said? Eisenhower said, what's important is seldom urgent, and what's urgent is seldom important. And that's the point he was getting to. The stuff that's being done, the do, should be stuff that's already been planned. Everybody knows what they're doing and they're moving forward. It's the planning, the next stage, is so that we can be ready and have good time management. That's the important bit. So trying to expand that planning stage is key to good time management. One of the interesting points on there that people struggle with is delegating. So let's have a look at some keys to effective delegation. So as we've discussed there, effective delegation, as highlighted in Eisenhower's matrix, can save you time. It's about being effective, but not only does it save you time, it can help you, it can save you time by allowing you to focus on the important tasks, but also it helps to develop your team, your staff, empower them, motivate them. By letting them do activities, it lets them know that you believe in them. It gives them confidence. They can develop and learn new skills, and it opens up opportunities for them to take on additional responsibilities for the benefit of the organisation. So if used properly, it can be a really important tool, not just to save your time. But the keys to it, we'll just pop through a couple of keys, building blocks that sort of help to make sure the delegation is effective. The first of those key building blocks is it's an investment to save time. In lots of situations, yes, doing something yourself will be faster. Well, the first time it will be. Delegation is about investing in the future. It's about investing that time now to make sure that it's going to become better for you and it be repaid later. When the staff can do it themselves, when they can take it on board, then that'll leave you time to concentrate on those important tasks. It's also about engaging people. It's not just, oh, I pay you to do this. It's about getting them involved and them wanting to do something, getting them to do the work that involves. So it's getting persuasion. I suppose effective delegation is all about involvement, a two-way process. They've got to want to do it. You've got to make them want to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. The next one is giving clear direction. It's about making sure that they know what it is they're doing. Often there's a presumption that someone knows it was delegated and therefore it doesn't get done properly and therefore it wastes more time. So you need to make sure it's specific, clear expectations relating to what's going to be achieved, and what is included and what levels of authority come with this responsibility. But don't force it. Delegating can be a challenge for that staff, but it can also be a challenge for the manager as well, because if you're not used to giving away responsibility, so start with those less urgent, non-critical activities, the little things that still will save you time, especially if the staff take it on board. Give them clear direction, give them critical feedback afterwards, and sort of try and develop them so that you're thinking about, back to that big one, it's an investment in saving time for the future, not initially. And try and match skills to people. We've talked a lot about you knowing about your own personality type and what you're good at. Well, think about it for other people as well. Try and make sure it links up with what that person's good at, or what you think they're capable of, where you think they should be going. Want to be recognising and rewarding people. Delegation is much easier if staff are then seeking those new challenges and coming. In the end, if we're recognising and rewarding people for the roles they do and developing them, then they might start coming forward and taking stuff from us. So we may not even have to go looking for them. We may be able to sort of encourage people to come forward and see what they can do to help us out to save time. And finally, it's not about abdication. It's about giving responsibility and the required authority, not putting it all on someone else's shoulders. You're not relinquishing accountability. As the leader, you're not passing the buck. You're going to be there to provide guidance, feedback, track results, and give credit when it goes well, and take responsibility for any outcomes, but still recognise and reward. So effective delegation can be a massive time saver if done properly. So let's have a look at a couple of other theories. The next one I'm going to briefly cover is Lakin's ABC, a simple method that's again about prioritising. It's about assigning a priority status to something, either status A, B or C. So you can do that to each item on your to-do list or your task list, A being a must-do, high priority, highly important, critical item, I don't know, with a very close deadline or with a high level of importance, down to C, which we'll talk about in a minute. But if we examine it in a bit more detail, we'll see that A is about tasks that are urgent and important. So if we think back to Eisenhower's matrix and how he predicted what was urgent and important, we could use that. B is about tasks that are important but not urgent. Okay, and C are tasks that are neither urgent nor important, or they're urgent but not important. And again, we could use Eisenhower's matrix to decide what goes in what category. We then sort of top the totals up for each group and then order them. So we might have 10 tasks in group A, we all order them in priority 1 to 10. 10 tasks in group B, 1 to 10, and then 3 or 4 tasks in group C, which we number 1 to 4. Often used with other problem solving techniques, and you can research that a bit more, but it's about working out how you're going to categorize them. But the key is that we're categorizing them. For example, you could use it for long-term planning and say that all groups in task A are to be done within a day, B within a week, and C within a month, to sort of prioritize which ones are going to go into your weekly list. It's about utilizing it to your own advantage and what fits with your situation. But it is again about prioritizing stuff into some sort of category so that we know how we can use it. Final one we're going to look at is the 4Ds. Again, another time management tool that advocates making decisions to protect our precious time, resources, our most precious time. And those things are, we look at whether we're going to drop, delay, delegate, or do. So the first one we consider is, do we drop it? Do we do it at all? It's the simplest one and the simplest way to gain time. Eliminate it, as in the Eisenhower matrix. If we drop it, obviously it's got to be non-urgent, non-important. It could be some of those little daily habits that we have, the things we do that really, if we didn't do them, that become habit. But if we didn't do them, would it change things? Would it impact on progression? So we need to think about those things and see if we can highlight those. It's quite hard to do, but if we can, then we just drop them. The next is to delay. Even if we're not dropping it, we may feel that there's some things that are urgent and important, but actually they don't need to be done right now. We've probably been putting them off, procrastinating on them for a while, and if we have been, then are they really that important? If we continue to delay them, are they really going to have an impact on our outcomes? So they may not be dropped, but we can afford to delay them, and delaying them will free up time to do more important things. And then thirdly, delegating. We've talked about that, and we've identified what a great time saver it can be. We've looked at effective key things that are for effective delegation. So once we've identified some things, and they may be things that we didn't want to drop, but that we thought we could delay, they may be ideal things that we could delegate to someone else. So then we need to look at their skills, attributes, behaviours before we delegate them. And then finally, that should leave us with what we need to do. These are the tasks we're left with, and by a process of elimination, these should really be the important tasks that we're left with. Everything else has been put out to someone else, or we've delayed it, or we've dropped it. Now we've left with the things we need to do. We can now order these and then decide which ones we're going to do first. Right then, so now a quick activity. Remember, we've reviewed 4 techniques there: Eisenhower, Lakin's ABC, the 4 Ds, and effective delegation. There are others out there that you can research, and we've also looked at to-do lists and diaries as part of a process. There's a video for you to watch now, how to multiply your time, and that should give you a bit of an alternative view about how you can think about these time management methods, these prioritization theories. So make some notes from that, because you'll need them for your end of unit assignment, when you'll need to evaluate some time management prioritizations or tools and techniques. But I do feel that although the video gives an alternative view, it does bring together some key things about time management and how we go about it.